I'm John Law, this is Chasing Cars, and hopefully today I'm not driving this Tesla Model Y next to me. Instead, I'm going to be supervising its full self-driving features for the first time in Australia. For the first time in any right-hand drive market for that matter, owing to a few of Australia's unique laws. I'll cover those along with how this Model Y interfaces with the real world, with real traffic, with pedestrians and tricky roads that we have here in Australia, and see if FSD Supervised is really up to the task of dealing with our roads. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this technology in the comments section down below. Make sure you hit subscribe to Chasing Cars, and let's get into it. Chasing Cars, honest reviews of your next car.
Brought to you by
Budget Direct.
I'm no Tesla fanboy, and I'm not someone who was super excited about the idea of full self-driving. Manual gearboxes, loud engines, and steering feel gets me much more excited from day to day. But having seen videos of Tesla's FSD supervised software driving Model Ys and Model 3s around Sydney and around Melbourne, even performing a hook turn, got me intrigued, quite excited actually about the technology, because if it can do that, then yeah, it's seriously impressive, and it has the chance to sort of ease our daily lives, if not entirely take over from driving, because after all, it is just a level 2 autonomy software. That means the driver still needs to remain in control at all times. And in Australia, Tesla's not saying it's a grey area, but that's sort of what I interpret it as. It means that you don't legally have to have your hands on the steering wheel to be in control of the vehicle, which makes it much easier for full self-driving supervised to be rolled out in a country like this. So if I'm sitting here, as long as I have my hands relatively close to the steering wheel and my feet around the pedals, it should in theory be legal. So pretty easy to set up in this car, which has hardware 4. So it's a pre-update Model Y, but it still has the latest software. So you'll need to check whether your Tesla is able to accommodate this software, and you'll also need to pay your $10,100 for the full self-driving if you want the full package. Now, Tesla hasn't told us exactly when it's going to roll out to customers, only soon, and Tesla hasn't quite come to the party and told us whether this software will be also available on a subscription basis or with a 30-day trial, but we understand those models are under consideration. Now, let's show you how to set it up. Setting the autopilot on the new software. Now, you'll be aware of this screen if you've got a Tesla at the moment. You're probably also aware of this auto steer screen. But what you won't have, if you're in Australia at least, is the full self-driving in brackets supervised. You've got to read your prompts, set that up, and then tick this little button to go start from full self-driving, supervised from park, go yes. Then all you've got to do is set a navigation location, and from there, we're actually ready to go. I've got to close the doors and then just press the button and we'll set off on our way. And with that all set up, it's time to take a proper first-time look at how FSD Supervised works on Australian roads. Let's go. Straight away, it's pretty smooth. We're doing 45 k's an hour in what it's decided is a 50 zone, slowing down briskly to 40. Now we're going to take you to the first turn out of this little facility onto the main road, because I think that'll be an interesting test. I am actually a little bit worried. My heart rate is elevated. Yeah, look, to be fair on it, this is a pretty awkward place to start. This is definitely, I think, one of the bigger tests we're going to run into. And now we're approaching a 90-degree T intersection with a main road.
Right onto Mount Cotton Road.
As you can hear, Mount Cotton Road. 80 k an hour speed limit too, so we'll see how this navigates this. Oh man, there's a truck coming to my right. Oh. And a RAV4. And another truck. Oh, it's kind of weirdly nerve-wracking. Like, I want to trust it, but it hasn't shown me that it can be trusted just yet. I'm sure it can. I've seen videos of this before, but I've just got that little bit of nervousness. All right. Oh, clear? No. Oh, it's going to go. Oh, that's brave. That's about as brave as I would be. Okay. Does it know the speed limit? Yeah. Okay. That's the first little test dispatched. We'll pick this up after a little while and see how it goes. Impressive to start with. That's challenging. Do you know what? I was probably underselling it, because that was a proper complex task to ask a computer to do. So, yeah, I mean, I probably could have done a better job myself, but I don't know, it feels cool. I feel like I'm in the future, and that's kind of fun sometimes. Right, this is the first roundabout. There's a truck coming to my right. Ah! Oh, it's indicating. Okay, there's another one. Okay, a little bit of a dither, but that is a freaky sensation. I'm holding my hands here like an awkward dork. That was a bit jerky. Yep, that is better than probably 60% of the drivers on Australian roads. That's, okay. I'm impressed. Colour me impressed. This is going quite well. I guess it's sort of like, it's a couple of steps better than being in the car with a learner driver. Like a really good learner driver, I feel like that's who is driving this car right now, which is kind of sweet. It's not the most proficient driving you could expect, but in terms of serviceable, supervised driving, I can see the appeal. Might have to step in, but so far it's proving itself to be pretty smart. This is our first tricky merge onto a multi-lane motorway, which will be interesting. So we've got the indicator on. We were warned that the indicator might be a little bit slow, and we're going to follow this truck across, I suppose. And we're actually going to go for the overtake. 100k an hour speed limit, speeding up, getting past this little truck. Okay. Just like a really good learner driver would do. And then the trick will be to see if, unlike the rest of the drivers in Australia, whether it'll merge back into the left lane after safely overtaking. I don't think it's going to do it just yet. Oh, there we go. There you go. Can't really fault that. That was pretty smooth, pretty good. So I'm finding the first awkwardness on the motorway, and that is I'm sitting in third lane and I'm not doing the speed limit. So I'm going 10 under. I'm getting undertaken on the left, overtaken on the right, and I feel like the car could have merged one lane over. But still, it's no worse than your average driver. So yeah, going well on the motorway. Let's pick it up a little bit further down the road. So it just did its first dumb thing. We merged in front of a van that's now behind us, right when the speed limit dropped to 80 in a roadwork zone, and now I'm stuck. I guess I could have stopped it doing that though, so maybe that's on me after all. Next challenge, dealing with Brisbane City. Again, interesting. Let's see how it does with cut and thrust, stop and go traffic. Hopefully we'll get a couple of traffic lights to get some, first impressions on that as well. So tricky one here. Coming under a bridge, we've got a stop sign with a very sharp corner turning onto a one-way road with approaching traffic with poor visibility. I think this is going to be quite the challenge, so it'll be interesting to see how well this pre-facelift Model Y does with FSD supervised. Inching forwards. There's a Camry coming in the right lane, followed by a Model 3. We're being conservative here. And it's going to nip out before the next line of traffic comes. Nicely into the left lane, smooth, controlled, and straight across into the right lane, knowing predictively that I've got to turn right in 500 meters. It's pretty good. It's pretty bloody good. Oh, first real traffic light of the test too. Red light, sees that, brings me to a stop. Nice and easily. Now, full self-driving supervised doesn't always do exactly what you want. Sometimes it drives a little bit too slowly. The good thing is you can actually gently top up the speed by gently pressing the accelerator pedal to get up to your desired speed so you don't hold anyone up. That said, I do think Tesla needs a little bit of a workaround when it comes to braking full self-drive using the steering. When there's an input going on as there is now, if I want to come out of it, it's quite a sharp jerk to get me out of full self-driving and back into manual control, and I just think it could be a little bit smoother. So about 45 minutes through our drive loop, which is about halfway. It's been pretty technical so far. You've got my first impressions of a bunch of different scenarios. I'm going to go quiet for a little bit and I'll catch you at the end of the drive loop after we've had a bit more time to collate our thoughts and come back to you with a real verdict on whether or not full self-driving supervised is any good on Australian roads. So after a solid 2 hours and about 150 Ks of driving, pretty much using exclusively the full self-driving supervised software, what do we think of it while we're out on the road? Well, I've had some time to put some thoughts together, and look, it is a seriously impressive piece of kit. The way that I can drive along right now, I'm doing 50 Ks an hour, I'm paying attention to the road, but I'm also paying attention to the camera, hands aren't on the steering wheel, feet are hovering over the pedals. It's just really good for a distracted driver. It takes care of everything for you. That said, it's not perfect. Specifically, there are times when it's a little bit dithery. Like right now, it could be a little bit more decisive, but I do understand that this is still an early version of the software. It's not quite production level software for the FSD supervised. So I think it will get a little bit more like Australian drivers, and we're told that it does tend to stick 5 or 10 Ks an hour below the speed limit. That is what it's doing right now. We're about 20 under in an 80 zone, and that has annoyed a few of the Queensland locals up here while we've been driving around. But look, I think it's all a bit of a learning experience, this FSD-S, and what I've been most impressed about is that even though it is a little bit slow and a little bit undecisive sometimes, it takes its time in tricky situations and doesn't seem to get caught up and stuck, even at really nasty intersections. Coming out of the RACQ Centre was, for example, really impressive. That first thing, my nerves were pretty, pretty rattled by the idea of that, letting a car do that merge, and yet the Model Y seemed to do it really well. So it's not perfect, and while it's able to do those sort of tricky urban road situations, I still think this is very much a technology to ease your nerves on a long drive. Say maybe your half an hour, 45-minute commute home in Sydney on some unpleasant traffic-filled roads. It's going to just ease that part of your life so much. Or maybe on a long road trip, main arterials, motorways, and large well-spaced roads where it seems to keep up with traffic pretty well are really the place where FSD-S works really well. Now then there's the $10,000 question to answer as well. Is it worth it? Should you pay that much up front for this software? Or should you have paid that much for this software? Well, as for the hardware, if you bought it on a pre-hardware 4 equipped Tesla, we're not yet sure if the retrofit will be made available to you. It may be the case that it is, but it may be the case that it's not and you might have to pay. That's all yet to be worked out, though if it is, I'll drop a little pinned comment down below. As for whether you should pay on a car that you're buying now, I would say it's probably worth holding off. Tesla is talking roughly about doing some kind of subscription-based service, or at least a 30-day free trial, and I think that'll be worth waiting for and maybe adopting then, so long as the price doesn't go up, because it is cool tech, it is cool software, and really the thing is, the limitations we focused on today, well, it's only going to get better. This software is constantly learning, constantly evolving, coming through over-the-air software updates. So even if you might be a bit of a Tesla hater, someone who doesn't love this vehicle, its brand, or what its owner stands for, I think we can all look at this full self-driving software and think, wow, it's pretty cool that it can deliver really decent on-road driving characteristics on tricky Australian roads. Well, I think it's pretty safe to say that after that experience, this skeptic of full self-driving has been converted. It really is very good. It took on Australia's really complex, tough to understand road network excellently, and I'm seriously impressed, especially on motorways and main arterial roads. Of course, there are some niggles to work on. For example, driving around car parks, it can get a bit flummoxed. It doesn't always know what a parking spot really is, certainly in Australia, and some road layouts can have it a bit perplexed. But what do you expect? Those road layouts perplex real human beings as well. So I think as a tool to help you relax after a long day at work, rather than taking full control of the vehicle, Tesla's full self-driving supervised is by far the best on the market right now, certainly sold in Australia. But I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments on the technology, so let me know those down below. Hit subscribe if you haven't done so already, and as always, thank you very much for watching.